do the honors.
Shubham.
Thank you so much.
We also extend a warm welcome to our guest, Ms. Sushma Bhatia, SP, Zone 15, District Westing. I request Principal Sir to greet ma'am with a sapling and a memento as a token of our appreciation. We also welcome our eminent dignitaries from the Directorate of Education, Mr. Mohanty, Deputy Secretary, DOE. I request Principal Sir.
No, designation is wrong. Please correct the designation.
We also welcome Mr. R.C. Mohanty, Deputy Secretary, Parliamentary Affairs. I request Principal Sir to greet Sir with a sapling and memento as a token of our appreciation.
Thank you so much.
We also welcome Ms. Savita Mohan, Sectional Officer, DOE. Once again, I request Principal Sir to greet ma'am.
Ministry of Finance.
We welcome Ms. Savita Mohan, Section Officer, Parliamentary Affairs. The Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs conducts youth parliament competition in the schools of the government of the National Capital Territory of Delhi, Kendriya Vidyalayas, Navodaya Vidyalayas, and universities, colleges all over the country. The objective of the youth parliament is to teach children democracy, equip them with debating skills, stimulate them to present their own thoughts and listen to those of others, how to follow through, advocate for an idea, and make it a reality. These kinds of parliamentary sessions are very important to channelize the energies of young students towards creativity rather than destruction. It also helps to inculcate a sense of leadership quality. The youth parliament is not a place where children simply imitate adult roles. It is rather a tool for high school students to exercise their rights, to voice their opinions, and improve their situation both in school and in the town through various projects. Everyone wants to become a doctor or an engineer these days. Politics should also be treated as a career option, and activities like this give students the necessary exposure. All said and done, it is a great learning experience. Interesting and intelligent questions are raised by students on issues related to national safety, security, population, pollution, poverty, social welfare, justice, electoral reforms, etc. It is targeted at ordinary youth with zero involvement in polity or policy making to sensitize them at large about issues concerning them. It seeks to engage youth democratically, trying to convey the importance of being aware of issues which directly or indirectly affect them. It is no wonder that we at Bal Bharati have welcomed this initiative, and after weeks of deliberation, we have our team of young parliamentarians all ready and waiting to take up the matters of the House this morning. So without any further delay, let's adopt the decorum expected of the parliamentarians and hand the floor over to the members of the assembled House. I request the judges to please take their seats.
Honorable members, Honorable Speaker,
First item in the list of business. New members to take oath or affirmation. Secretary General, please.
Mr. Ashwini Kumar Jha, who stands elected from the Karnal constituency of Haryana, will now take oath or affirmation.
Mr. Ashwini Kumar Jha, please.
Sir, would you like to take the oath or affirmation?
oath please.
In which language would you like to take oath?
Hindi please. मैं अश्विनी कुमार झा जो 51वीं युवा संसद का सदस्य निर्वाचित हुआ हूँ, ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूँ कि विधि द्वारा स्थापित भारत के संविधान के प्रति श्रद्धा रखूंगा, देश की प्रभुसत्ता और एकता को बनाए रखूंगा तथा जिस पद को मैं ग्रहण करने वाला हूँ उसके कर्तव्य का श्रद्धापूर्वक निर्वाह करूंगा।
सदन में आपका स्वागत है।
Honorable members, as we meet today, it is my sad duty to inform the House of the demise of Mr. Prakash Pandey, a lawyer by profession who devoted his time and energy to the society. He was an able parliamentarian and an effective orator. He was the president of Lawyers Association, Delhi. He took keen interest in the proceedings of the House. He passed away untimely on 16th May 2016 at the tender age of 52. On behalf of the House, I express deep sorrow over his unexpected demise and sympathize with the bereaved family.
Madam, I rise to pay my tribute to Mr. Prakash Pandey, whose death has been deeply mourned by all. He was a man of great willpower and strong character. We lost a good parliamentarian with his untimely demise. On behalf of the House, I would like to express my heartfelt condolence at his untimely demise and sympathize with the bereaved family.
Madam, I associate myself with the tributes paid by you and the members of the House. I had the privilege of working with Mr. Prakash Pandey for a few years. He was an excellent guide and a philosopher. We lost a dynamic man and an able parliamentarian with the demise of Mr. Prakash Pandey. My party members and I pay our condolence to the bereaved family.
The House may stand in silence for a minute to show respect to the departed soul. The Secretary General may convey the message of condolence to the bereaved family.
Yes, madam.
Now, introduction of new ministers. Prime Minister, please.
Madam, I have the pleasure in introducing to you and through you to the House the new ministers. Anand Singh, Minister of Heavy Industries and Public Enterprises. Harsimrat Kaur, Minister of Food Processing Industries.
Now, the question hour begins. Question number 101. Ms. Gauri, please.
The situation in Kashmir is very volatile. Every day, there are reports of terrorist attacks and terrorist infiltration. The youth are being misguided. Instead of books, they have stones in their hands. Honorable Speaker, will the Home Minister be pleased to state A. Whether the government is generally concerned about the problems of terrorism in Kashmir. B. If so, the details thereof. And C. The steps taken by the government to generate employment for Kashmiri youth.
Minister of Home Affairs, please.
With the permission of Honorable Speaker, Madam, I would like to answer this question raised by Honorable Member. Madam, our government is fully committed to maintain peace in Kashmir. We have launched counter-terrorist operations with a human face. We are taking a number of steps to divert Kashmiri youths from terrorism. And in fact, we are also generating employment opportunities for them so that they don't ever think of taking up guns. We have a reconstruction plan for Jammu and Kashmir, under which we are going to boost up agriculture, economy and industry. We are developing skills of youth for employment. We are promoting tourism in Poonch and Kargil. We are developing Rajouri as a pilgrimage site. In fact, our government is also taking up steps to rehabilitate horticulture industry. Thank you.
Any supplementary questions, please? Mr. Yadav, please.
गृह मंत्री से मेरा सवाल है कि सरकार कश्मीर में पुलिस की गोलियों के शिकार लोगों के परिवार वालों को क्या मदद दे रही है? ख ऐसे दंगों में अपाहिज लोगों की सहायता के लिए सरकार के पास कोई योजनाएं है भी या नहीं?
Minister, please.
Sir, our present government is making every possible effort to provide relief and rehabilitation to the families of such victims. We are inviting applications, and after the verification and identification of the needy, we are providing support to them. We have already enhanced the outlay for Rehabilitation Council. We are providing enough compensation to them. We will provide government jobs to one member of such families. And we are soon going to unveil a rehabilitation plan for physically handicapped people also.
Any supplementary questions, please? Miss Aarti, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, it seems that the present government is living in fool's paradise. Home Ministry's Kashmir action are a case of too little and too late. It seems that the government is disconnected with the ground realities. What steps have been taken by the government to meet the challenges concerning the security of the country?
Minister of Home Affairs, please.
Madam, our government is fully committed to our national defense. We have taken a number of steps to protect our lands and sea borders. In fact, we should congratulate the security forces in foiling the recent terrorist attacks. We are equipping fishing boats with a SOS transmitter that can transmit emergency signals to the Coast Guard. We are paying close attention to cyber work. We have increased our reliance on human intelligence. So I beg honorable member to understand the gravity of the problem. I cannot disclose other measures taken by the government at this juncture since they are sensitive issues. Thank you.
No more supplementary questions. Question number 102. Ms. Bhavika, please.
Madam, pulses are a very important part of the Indian diet and the chief source of proteins for most of the Indians. But their prices seems to rise in the past year. They seem to have vanished both from our plates and the food price shops. Madam Speaker, will the Agriculture Minister be pleased to state A. whether the government is aware of the shortage of pulses in the country and the fall of about 17 million tons of production recently. B. If so, the details thereof. And C. The necessary efforts made by the government to rectify the situation.
Minister of Agriculture, please.
Madam Speaker, I appreciate the concern shown by the honourable member, but I would like to inform her that our present government is fully aware of the pulse shortage and their price rise. It is mainly due to the drought conditions in several states. According to a recent survey conducted by the government, there is an estimated shortage of 7.6 million tons of pulses. The government is taking steps and has been taking measures to import pulses from foreign countries to meet the shortage. We have now gone a step further, and we plan to take India's model of cooperative farming to Africa to meet the shortage. So, to start with, we are going to form a network of farmers in Mozambique with the help of local agents. We are looking at an import of 1 lakh tons of pulses from Mozambique.
Any supplementary questions, please? Mr. Partho Singh, please.
माननीय मंत्री, सरकार आयात पर निर्भरता बढ़ाकर भारतीय विदेशी मुद्रा कोष के विषय में चिंतित है या नहीं? यदि हाँ, तो सरकार की इस विषय में क्या नीतियां हैं?
Minister of Agriculture, please.
Honorable member, the central government is taking several steps to control the price rise of pulses. On one hand, we are trying to give relief to the citizens by importing pulses from foreign countries. And on the other, we are taking steps to increase pulse production. We have also released stocks from the buffer, and we are empowering states to impose stock limits. We are also conducting several income tax raids on traders in Maharashtra. The centre has decided to release 10,000 tons of pulses, mainly for arhat and urad, from the buffer stocks. The size of the buffer stock has also been increased to 20 lakh tons from the previous 8 lakh tons. The government is procuring pulses from the local market to build up the buffer. 69,000 tons of pulses have been procured so far against a target of 1 lakh tons. Thank you.
Any supplementary question, please? Ms. Jyoti Kumari, please.
मैं सरकार से यह प्रश्न पूछना चाहूंगी कि इस दिशा में किसानों को आत्मनिर्भर बनाने के लिए सरकार क्या कदम उठा रही है?
Minister, please.
Madam, we have already taken long-term measures to build up self-sufficiency among farmers. We are providing them easy loans, and we are also taking steps to reduce their dependency on rain. Our present focus is on the creation of a proper irrigation system. I assure you, Honourable Member, that our country will not face such a shortage in future. To boost production, 638 districts of 29 states have been included in the National Food Security Mission Plan. The government has also announced a sharp increase in the minimum support price of Kharif pulses for the crop year 2016-17 to encourage farmers to grow lentils. Thank you.
No more supplementary questions. Question number 103. Ms. Anubha, please.
मेरा प्रश्न मानव संसाधन विकास मंत्री के लिए है। क्या सरकार उच्च शिक्षा के गिरते हुए स्तर से अवगत है? यदि हाँ, तो सरकार इस दिशा में क्या कदम उठा रही है?
Minister of Human Resource and Development, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, improvement of education, especially higher education, is the topmost priority of our government. We are fully aware of the fact that education is the backbone of our country. In order to improve the standard of higher education, our ministry has referred a world-class proposal to the Law Ministry and thereby have sought clarity about the formulation of regulations under Section 26 of DCRC Act 1956. We have set up advanced training institutes for electronics and process instrumentation in Dehradun. We are already establishing a new state university. Also, support from organizations such as NCRT has been valued. We have launched schemes for sensitizing state governments for expansion of higher educational institutions. Our government has already started working towards the formulation of the National Education Policy 2016. The government has asked for inputs from the people.
Any supplementary questions, please? Ms. Bhagwati Kumari, please.
Today, the level of education among economically weaker section is very low. Is the government launching any special scheme for them?
Minister, please.
Madam Speaker, our government has taken the resolve to uplift the backwards. We are helping economically weaker districts to pursue technical as well as professional education. Under the education loan scheme of the Indian Banks Association, Indira Gandhi National Tribal University is doing a lot of useful work. We are committed to set up 374 degree colleges in educationally backward districts. I would also like to make a special mention here of the Board of the Practical Training of Eastern Region to focus on the development of the Eastern Region.
Any supplementary question, please? Ms. Kamlesh Devi, please.
Ma'am, over 1,500 engineering seats across 31 NITs have fallen vacant this year, prompting these institutions to seek HRD Ministry's nod to make outstation candidates eligible for state quota seats. The government hasn't taken a final decision on the NIT proposal of opening up state quota seats for outstation candidates. I would like to ask the HRD Minister that what government is doing towards this direction.
Minister, please.
Honorable Madam, the government is fully aware of this problem. Our concern is the same as yours. Our government can't close its eyes to the future citizens of India. In amount to fill up 5,550 vacant seats in NITs, IITs and other government-funded technical institutions, and to give a fair chance to meritorious students, the Central Seat Allocation Board has extended the deadline for an additional special round of admissions till the 17th of August 2016. The final count will be revealed soon. After that, the government will consider the NIT proposal too.
No more supplementary questions. Now, question hour is over and 0 hour begins. Ms. Goya, please.
Madam, we are in the midst of a grave crisis. We are getting reports that earlier this month, Chinese troops had transgressed the border by land and by air in the Chamoli district of Uttarakhand. Earlier this month, when its men stationed themselves in a demilitarized zone and its helicopters flew in the Indian airspace for 5 minutes. Uttarakhand shares a 350-kilometer long boundary with China, and similar attempts at Chinese incursions have been reported in the past. Is the government totally unaware of this serious threat to the Indian security?
Member, please be brief.
Yes, madam. My questions are: A. Why is the government downplaying the issue? B. Has the Defence Ministry taken any concrete steps to safeguard our territory?
Defence Minister, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, I would like to inform the House that please, no one should doubt our intentions and our capabilities. Our army is one of the best forces in the world with highest morality, standards, capabilities and training. We are keeping a strict watch on the developments in Uttarakhand. India will not tolerate any such threats to our security. Such continued acts on the part of China will also hamper our peace initiatives with China. At present, we are exercising restraint, but this should not be taken for granted. I assure the House that India will take every possible step to safeguard its borders.
Ms. Rekha, please.
Speaker Madam, my question is for the Minister of External Affairs that thousands of Indian workers are stranded in Saudi Arabia. They are starving with no means to come back to India. Could the Minister of External Affairs be pleased to state A. What is the fate of those Indians? B. Is the government taking any concrete steps to help them?
External Affairs Minister, please.
Honorable Speaker Madam, I would like to inform the House. I appreciate the concern of the member. I am personally monitoring the situation and I assure the House that not one of them will go hungry. The Indian Embassy in Saudi Arabia is running 5 camps to feed the affected people. The government has requested the Saudi authorities to give them exit visas without NOC from employers and also urged it to clear the dues of workers whenever they settle accounts with the companies. Thank you.
Now the 0 hour is over. कृपया कोई और प्रश्न नहीं।
महोदय, गंगा कमीशन की सिफारिशों पर टिप्पणी करते समय दिल्ली के एक प्रसिद्ध समाचार पत्र ने बड़े ही गंभीर रूप से विशेषाधिकार भंग किया है। समाचार पत्र ने बेईमानी के उद्देश्यों का आरोप लगाया है, इसलिए मैं आपसे विनती करती हूँ मुझे मामला उठाने दीजिए।
महोदय, क्या आपने इस संबंध में पहले नोटिस दिया है? आप समाचार पत्र की कटिंग के साथ उपयुक्त नोटिस दे सकती हैं। जब वह मेरे पास आएगा मैं उस पर विचार करूंगी। आप अचानक इस प्रकार प्रश्न नहीं उठा सकती।
महोदय, आज रात 10 बजे ही मैंने इसका नोटिस दिया है।
उसकी जांच की जाएगी और जब वह मेरे पास आएगा मैं उस पर अपना निर्णय दूंगी। अब सभा पटल पर पत्र रखे जाएंगे। Now papers to be laid on the table of the House. Ms. Radhika, Minister for Rural Development, please.
Madam, I beg to lay on the table a copy of the annual report of National Rural Development Corporation for the year 2016 and 2017, along with the audit report of the Controller and Auditor General therein.
Ms. Tanya, Minister of Shipping, please lay paper on the table of the House.
Madam, I beg to lay on the table a copy of each of the following notifications under subsection on 4 of section 124 Major Port Trust Act 1963. First, GSR 229 dated on 27th May 2016, publishing the Gujarat Port Trust Amendment Regulations 2016. Second, GSR 450 dated on 7th July 2016, publishing the Mumbai Port Trust Amendment Regulations 2016.
Secretary General to report the message from the upper chamber of the Youth Parliament.
Madam, I have to report the following message received from the Secretary General, the upper chamber of the Youth Parliament. In accordance with provisions of Rule 109 of Procedure and Conduct of Business in the upper chamber of the Youth Parliament, I am directed to enclose a copy of Bill on Finance 2016 as passed by the upper chamber at its session held on 28 July 2016.
Secretary General to lay a copy of the bill passed by the upper chamber on the table of the House.
Madam, I lay on the table of the House the Bill on Finance 2016 as passed by the upper chamber of the Youth Parliament.
Honorable members, I have an announcement to make. On my own behalf and on behalf of the members of the House, I have great pleasure in introducing you and extending a warm welcome to the honorable members of French parliamentary delegation who are on a visit to India as our honorable guests. The members of the parliamentary delegation are Minister of Education Isabelle Blanchet, Minister of Health, Laurent Cassidy. It is a very high-powered delegation. We wish them a happy and a fruitful stay in the country. I would also like to convey our guests our regards to the French Parliament and to the friendly people of France. Now, we take up the calling attention motion. Honorable members, Ms. Sopti, Ms. Saini, Mr. Kanti and Ms. Ratika will call the attention of the Prime Minister and Road Transport and Highways Minister towards an increase in the number of accidents on roads. Ms. Sopti, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, I beg to call the attention of Road Transport and Highways Minister towards an increase in number of accidents. Madam, it is embarrassing that India tops the list of road fatalities worldwide. According to a recent report, about 5,279 persons were injured and 1,46,133 people were killed in the year 2015 alone. It is a known fact that road accidents in India result in 400 deaths every day with an approximate loss of 3.8 lakh crores. The Archaic Motor Vehicle Act of 1988 has even failed to address the prevailing challenges.
Minister for Road Transport and Highways, please.
Speaker Madam, the government is fully aware of the fact that road safety is the need of the hour. Despite our best efforts, Road Transport and Safety Bill 2015 could not be introduced in Parliament because a few state governments showed their displeasure, saying that the provisions of the bill were against the administrative and financial rights of the state.
Ms. Sopti, please.
I have to thank the Chair for giving me an opportunity to call the attention of Road and Transport Minister. Madam, I would like to know from the Minister, will we have to wait till eternity for a comprehensive time-bound road safety law?
While many developing countries like China have taken swift steps to bring down the number of deaths in road crashes, India still lags behind. In spite of the Indian government's plan to build smart cities in the country and upgrade its infrastructure, which includes having good roads and highways as an integral part of the project, the road safety legislation issue still lies in the doldrums.
Madam Speaker, why is the government least concerned about the safety of its citizens on roads? How many more deaths do we have to see every day?
आदरणीय स्पीकर महोदय, यह सुनकर मैं अपनी मन की भावनाएं जरा गुनगुनाना चाहता हूँ।
जी जरूर।
घर से निकले सफर पर, सड़क पर फिर वैसी ही चल रही थी गाड़ियाँ, वही रेंगता ट्रैफिक, गड्ढों की कलाकारियाँ। हुई थोड़ी सी बारिश, शहर गया थम। मंत्री जी कुछ कीजिए, समय है बहुत कम। मरम्मत के दम पर चलता फ्लाईओवर, पुल पर ही लंबी लगी वाहनों की कतारें। अब कैसे सिस्टम को सुधारें? बीआरटी बनवाया। बीआरटी का मतलब पता है? बहुत रोता ट्रैफिक। बीआरटी बनवाया, फिर हथौड़ा चलवाया और पैसा लगवाया। आखिर किसका हक गवाया? सड़कों की मरम्मत करवाओ, लोगों को आराम दिलाओ। बारिश न लगे अभिशाप, इसका मजा भी लेने दो हमें जनाब। धन्यवाद।
आपकी कविता ने इस माहौल पर चार चांद लगा दिए हैं। यहाँ उपस्थित सभी सभासदों के व सारे भारतवासियों के दिल की पुकार को मैं सड़क, परिवहन व राजमार्ग मंत्री के समक्ष रखना चाहूंगी।
Speaker Madam, honorable members are blaming the government without knowing the measures taken by us. It is not a failure on our part. I would like to inform the House that the Cabinet has cleared the Motor Vehicle Bill 2016, which is the single biggest reform in the law governing road safety. The bill entails a steep hike in penalties for traffic offences like drunk and drive. And if minors are caught driving, their parents would be imprisoned. The Cabinet has even accepted our Ministry's proposal to bring Ola and Uber under the ambit of Motor Vehicle Act 2016. The compensation for road fatalities is also proposed to increase. I assure the House that if the bill is passed, it will ensure road safety for all the citizens.
Now we take up the legislative business. Honorable Minister of Labour, please move the motion for the leave of the House to introduce the bill.
Honorable Madam, I beg to take the leave of the House to introduce the Labour Code on Industrial Relation Bill 2016.
Now the question is that leave be granted to introduce the Labour Code on Industrial Relations Bill 2016. Those who are in favor may say aye. Aye. Those who are against may say no. No. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The leave is granted.
Honorable Madam, the bill is introduced.
The bill will be considered in the next session of Parliament. Now we take up the bill for consideration. The Women, Health and Child Development Minister, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, I beg to move the bill. The bill for the crucial and serious issue of women's health and nutrition in India is a step to provide and make available wholesome, safe, nutritious and hygienic food to the women in India, with an emphasis on providing them with a package of services, which includes supplementary nutrition, immunization, free health checkup and referral services. It would be made more effective too with the involvement of NGOs. Madam, we all know that food is a very significant part of our lives, as it is a primary requirement, acting as a source of physical and mental energy. It not only affects our body and mind, but indirectly affects the nature and outcomes of an individual. Article 12 of the Convention of Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women commits state parties to take all appropriate measures to eliminate discrimination against women in the field of health services in order to ensure, on the basis of equality of men and women, access to healthcare services, including those related to family planning. The National Health Policy 2002 also focused throughout on the health of women in India, but the need now is to expand the primary health infrastructures and to review our staffing in public health services and to increase women's access to care so that it may become more responsive to the specific needs of women. Some of the provisions of the bill are as follows. First, it aims at achieving an unexpected standard of good health for the women population in the country and setting the goal for the next 2 decades. Second, restructuring of existing healthcare structures at primary, secondary and tertiary levels because they have appropriate referral linkages with each other. Third, looking to the health of the women in integrated and holistic way, that is physical, mental and social health. Fourth, providing information about the health services in remote areas like hilly and tribal regions with mobile health clinics. Fifth, providing information about the beneficial aspects of medicines, which includes Ayurveda and homeopathy for health and family welfare by setting up centers. Sixth, looking into the areas of malnutrition among women and the lack of gender data in this regard. Seventh, prioritizing the prevention of unwanted pregnancy through family planning and gender education. Also reducing the safe motherhood services and prenatal assistance. And for this, minimum 8 to 10 health centers per district have to be started. And last, monitoring provisions for women by public and by non-governmental organizations, and by involving private companies by giving them tax concessions for supporting and promoting women health issues. Madam, I am confident that all the members of the House, irrespective of their party affiliation, will welcome this bill wholeheartedly and with this help to eradicate the problems of women health and nutrition in India. With these words, I now move the bill for the Women Health and Nutrition 2016.
The motion moved that the bill to provide proper and structured health and nutrition facilities for the women to be taken into consideration. Shri Aryan, please.
Honorable Madam Speaker, I rise to support this bill. The issue of women health and nutrition is a serious and long-standing problem, particularly in a country like India, where the status of women in the household is secondary to the rest of the family members present. This issue has been time and again raised in the House, but due to multiple issues like social structure of our country, our efforts have always been received half-heartedly in practice.
Shri Rajesh, please.
Respected Speaker, Madam, I would like to draw the attention of the House to the Women Health and Nutrition Bill, which is ill-conceived, badly framed, ignoring the ground realities. Though the country's overall infant mortality rate has been decreased to 40% in 2013 from 60% in 2003, and the maternal mortality rate from 301 in 2003 to 167 in 2013. But the maternal and paternal mortality rate still remains a far-fetched reality. The government has totally ignored the aspect to implement a gentle health transformative strategy that would focus the housing strategy from female sterilization to male sterilization. Respected Speaker, Madam, if the government is really concerned about women health and nutrition, then it must also take the note of ensuring the rights of surrogate mothers, commissioning mothers, and of those children who are born through surrogacy. Thank you, Speaker, Madam.
Mr. Virendra Singh, please.
Honorable Madam Speaker, I would like to reiterate that the government has already taken recourse to the artificial reproductive techniques used, and it has proposed to put forward the Assisted Reproductive Techniques Regulation Bill 2014 with some modifications in it. The surrogacy bill is under consideration, but we do not have the guidelines on it right now. But I assure you, sir, that a bill for surrogacy will be in place in the near future.
Srimati Mamta, please.
Honorable Madam, today I want to share with the House some of the statistics I have with me here. Adolescent girls negatively impacting on women's nutrition highlighted that 43% of currently married women under the age of 20 to 24 years were married before attaining the age of 18 years. And these girls go through early and frequent marriages. The NFHS 2005 to 2006 highlighted that nearly every second girl child in India was undernourished, 42.5% of children under 5 years were underweight, 7 out of 10 children were anemic, every third woman in India was undernourished, 35.6% with low body mass index, every second woman between 15 to 49 years was anemic, 55.3%. Based on these statistics, Madam Speaker, I would be pleased to advise the House to reinforce legislative policy, plan and program commitments to address the multidimensional nature of nutritional challenges. The strategies must so be framed to address the criticality of ensuring prevention and management of diseases through universal access to healthcare and ensure hygiene sanitation, universal access to safe drinking water. Thank you, Madam.
Srimati Brinda Singh, please.
Thank you, Speaker, Madam. This is to bring to the notice of the House that the government has already devised a project, Mission Indradhanush, for achieving immunization for all children in the country by 2020. Diseases to be covered under this plan by vaccination are whooping cough, hepatitis B, diphtheria, tetanus, polio, tuberculosis, and measles. The program will also provide vaccination to children who are not either vaccinated at all or partially vaccinated against these 7 diseases.
Shri Tej Pratap Singh, please.
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदया, हम सब इस बात से अवगत हैं कि सरकारी स्वास्थ्य सेवाओं की हालत कितनी दयनीय है और ये सरकार इस मुद्दे पर बिल्कुल गंभीर नहीं। सरकार बात करती है महिलाओं और बच्चों की खास सुरक्षा की। वाह साहब, धान उपजाए हम, गेहूं उपजाए हम, मेहनत करें हम और बदले में क्या मिलता है? फूड सिक्योरिटी देती। क्या मिलता है? फूड सिक्योरिटी, ना कि महिला स्वास्थ्य सिक्योरिटी। यह गरीबी और निर्धनता का घोर उपहास है। पहली बात तो यह कि सरकारी अस्पतालों में डॉक्टर और दवा दोनों नदारद रहते हैं। दूसरा, वहां भ्रष्टाचार का कैंसर उच्चतम सीमाओं को छूता है। अध्यक्ष महोदया, मैं आपके माध्यम से इस सरकार को बताना चाहता हूं कि जो गरीबी के उद्धार का जो नाटक कर रही है उसे पहले सीख तो ले। गरीबी के डायरेक्टर से नाटक सीखे नहीं और गरीबी का नाटक कर रहे हैं। एक गांव में नाटक में हनुमान जी की भूमिका अदा करने वाला नहीं आया। लोगों ने सोचा अब तो नाटक नहीं होगा, तो एक बहुत मोटा तगड़ा दुकानदार था, उसको पकड़ लाया और कहा तू नाटक कर, केवल खड़ा रहना है। तो जब वो खड़ा होकर अपनी भूमिका अदा करने लगा तो रावण ने डांट कर कहा घी लाओ, तेल लाओ, उसकी पूंछ में आग लगाओ। दुकानदार को लगा भैया अब तो जलकर मरेंगे, तो कहने लगा हुजूर हम हनुमान जी नहीं है, हम तो दुकानदार है, अपनी दुकान चला रहे थे, तो वैसे ही नाटक करिएगा। कबीरा बाचा आखिन देखा, पंडित बाचे पोथिन देखा, तो हम तो वो कहते हैं जो अपनी आंखों से देखते हैं। सरकार अगर सच में गरीबों के उत्थान के लिए कुछ करना चाहती है, किसी भी बिल की जरूरत नहीं, किसी भी कानून की जरूरत नहीं, बस गली गली खुली इन अस्पताल रूपी दुकानों को बंद करवाएं और ये प्रावधान कर दे कि एक मंत्री का बच्चा और एक गरीब का बच्चा एक अस्पताल में आंख खोले, बस उसी दिन से महिलाओं की स्थिति सुधर जाएगी। माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदया, मैं इस चीज के लिए बहुत बदनाम हूं, यह शायद बहुत मशहूर हूं, तो इस सरकार के लिए कुछ पंक्तियां सदन के समक्ष रखना चाहूंगा। उदासियां जो ना लाते तो क्या करते, उदासियां जो ना लाते तो क्या करते, न जश्न शोला मनाते तो और क्या करते। अंधेरा मांगने आया था हमसे रोशनी की भीख, अंधेरा मांगने आया था हमसे रोशनी की भीख, हम अपना घर न जलाते तो और क्या करते। होठों पर सभी के ताला है, होठों पर सभी के ताला है, गैरत कांसों पर रखी है। होठों पर सभी के ताला है, गैरत कांसों पर रखी है। दरियाओं ने सारी पाबंदी केवल प्यासों पर रखी है। उससे कह दो कि एक बार अपने ज़मीर में झांके वो, उससे कह दो कि एक बार अपने ज़मीर में झांके वो पाएगा उसकी हर एक कुर्सी लाशों पर रखी है, वो पाएगा उसकी हर एक कुर्सी लाशों पर रखी है।
श्री प्रणय,
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदया, हमारे देश में महिलाओं की कुल आबादी 50% से भी ज्यादा की गई है। 1947 से ऐसी कई सरकारें आई और गई जिन्होंने महिलाओं पर लंबे लंबे भाषण तो दिए, परंतु उन्होंने जमीनी स्तर पर कोई कार्यवाही आरंभ न की। मैं और मेरी पार्टी सरकार द्वारा प्रस्तुत इस विधेयक का समर्थन करते हैं, परंतु कुछ संशोधनों के साथ, और ये इस प्रकार है। माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदया, आप भी एक महिला हैं और हमारे देश में देखा गया है कि कई बार प्रशासनिक लापरवाहियों के कारण हमारे देश की गर्भवती महिलाओं को अपनी अमूल्य संतानों तक को खोना पड़ता है। इस संशोधन द्वारा मैं सदन में बात प्रस्तावित करना चाहता हूं कि केंद्र सरकार को राज्य सरकारों के साथ मिलकर हर सरकारी अस्पताल में अधिकतर से अधिकतर चिकित्सकों की नियुक्ति करनी चाहिए और साथ ही साथ हर महीने इन गर्भवती महिलाओं की जांच भी, निःशुल्क जांच भी होनी चाहिए, जिससे उनके नवजात शिशुओं में आने वाले विकारों को दूर किया जा सके और उनका आने वाला जीवन सुखद और स्वर्णिम बन सके। दूसरा, माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदया, इस बात से हम सब अवगत हैं कि भारत युवाओं का देश है। हमारी 65% आबादी युवा है, परंतु आजादी के 70 साल बाद भी मुझे ये कहते हुए अत्यंत दुख होता है कि हमारी अधिकतर युवा आबादी कुपोषण जैसे दानव का शिकार है। इस कुपोषण नामक दानव के कारण ही आज हमारे देश के युवा और बच्चियों को अनेक प्रकार की शारीरिक और मानसिक यातनाओं से गुजरना पड़ता है। इस संशोधन द्वारा इस सदन में बात प्रस्तावित करना चाहता हूं कि केंद्र सरकार को हर गर्भवती महिला और बालिका को हर महीने 6 किलो सरकारी अनाज प्रदान करना चाहिए और साथ ही साथ हर राज्य सरकार में एक अलग विभाग भी होना चाहिए जिसके अफसर इस बात को सुनिश्चित कर सकें
कि ऐसी सभी सरकारी योजनाओं का लाभ हर दरिद्र से दरिद्र वर्ग के व्यक्ति को मिल सके। माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदया, इस सदन में मैं कुपोषण जैसे दानव की पूर्ण रूप से निंदा करता हूं और मैं हर माननीय सदस्य को इस बात से आश्वस्त करना चाहता हूं कि अगर इस विधेयक में ये संशोधन पारित हो जाए तो ये विधेयक एक ऐसा ब्रह्मास्त्र साबित होगा जो कुपोषण के दानव को हमारे देश से जड़ से उखाड़ फेंकेगा। अंत में मुझे गालिब की कुछ पंक्तियां याद आती हैं और आपके समक्ष रखता हूं। मंजिल उन्हीं को मिलती है जिनके इरादों में जान होती है। गौर दीजिएगा, मंजिल उन्हीं को मिलती है जिनके इरादों में जान होती है। अरे जनाब, पंख से कुछ नहीं होता, हौसलों से उड़ान होती है, हौसलों से उड़ान होती है।
Madam, I am grateful to all the members who have supported this bill and those who have given their constructive criticism on it. Above all, I am grateful to all the suggestions that have been given to us. I assure you that all these suggestions will be taken into consideration. First of all, I would like to inform my worthy opponent that the bill is not badly framed. We have made it after understanding all the ground realities. I would also like to inform my worthy opponent that all the records shall be placed in the public domain, kept open for the inspection of public. I hope I had answered most of the questions raised by the members. Before I conclude, I would like to affirm that this bill is going to pave way for a better and healthy India. I once again thank you for your support and need your cooperation in implementing this bill. I request the House to pass the bill.
Now the question is that the Women Health and Nutrition Bill 2016 to be taken into consideration. Those who are in favor may say aye. Aye. Those who are against may say no. No. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Now the question is that whether clause 2 to 7 stand part of the bill. There is an amendment by Shri Pranay. Are you moving it?
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदया, मैं माननीय मंत्री जी के जवाब के उत्तर से संतुष्ट हूं और मैं अपने संशोधन इस विधेयक में पारित नहीं करना चाहूंगा।
Now the question is whether clause 2 to 7 stand part of the bill. Those who are in favor may say aye. Aye. Those who are against may say no. No. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Motion is adopted. Clause 2 to 7 stand part of the bill. Minister of Women and Child Development, please.
Madam, I move the bill for the Women Health and Nutrition 2016 be passed.
Motion moved. Bill be passed. Those who are in favor may say aye. Aye. Those who are against may say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. The House is adjourned.
I'm sure you will all agree that it was an invigorating session